Yeah, did you see that? You see that article? I think I shared it to you guys. About the it was an interview with Kenny Hickey from Type O Negative, and he was saying how he thought it would be cool if Axl Rose would sing for them doing a reunion tour.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea.
You see that? Like, now close your eyes and let me love you to death.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Of all the guy, I'm trying to think of people who could sort of emulate Peter Steele's voice. And maybe they don't want that. Maybe they don't want somebody that's just going to emulate it like that. But who's the guy from the Sanguine fucking...
Oh, Moonspell.
Moonspell. Whoa. He's like the only other guy that's just as vampirish to me as Peter Steele.
Yeah, he'd be really good at it.
Yeah, but I don't
think of his name.
I guess Brooklyn Underground, like kind of sludge metal wouldn't be their style either. I don't even know how I would describe Type O Negative's music.
I'll be my Druidess.
Yeah. It's like...
Sweet Judas of mine.
Do you think that it would work really well with the just the low grinding tones of Type O Negative? Maybe it would actually add such a good high end. Maybe it would actually be the perfect mix of sound, and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
But I don't care about Axl Rose either. So
I appreciate the difference, like just going a completely different direction. But I just can't see it with Axl Rose. It just doesn't make any sense.
Did you read any comments on that? How's the general populace feel of this suggestion?
No, I didn't. I'd have to find the article, but I don't know. I'm not worried about that right now.
I wonder if Axl Rose saw that. They like tag him in it.
He's like,
yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, he's starting to practice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know where you are? You're in the forest, baby.
Oh, you're Type O Negative's band practice, Axl.
Leaves are turning orange.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. Hopefully, they're still trying to do a reunion tour, though.
Yeah.
Axl Rose isn't it though.
Yeah, just get the Moonspell guy.
Yeah.
Fire season,
the everlasting howling in the night. He's like the only other guy that has that kind of breathy and really fine, articulate demeanor about how he does his speech.
Yeah.
Those little soft T's.
Yeah.
Soft T's.
Portuguese band.
I do enjoy soft T's.
Love a Moonspell. Maybe I'll get there someday. All right, everyone, welcome to the show. This is All Abandoned, a rock and metal podcast. We got stacks on stacks on stacks.
Matty
He's
McStaxx.
just a man. He's got that feeling. He's cuckoo for caca. It's Herbivore's Matador, Matty McStaxx.
Wow, what an introduction there. It's, I couldn't help but notice all of the Faith No More tracks you just put in there for me. Yes, I am Matthew, cousin and blood brother of Van Rachnid, Jesse Van Horn. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good to be here. We've been kind of putting this episode off for a while, so I'm glad I could finally sit down and enjoy it. I think I'm ready. I got my beer. I've got my Celtic sea salt water.
Oh. Really? What does the salt do? I thought you weren't supposed to drink salt water.
Well, everything in moderation. You don't want any other kind of salt other than Celtic sea salt, apparently. I've been listening to this chick, this bitch, on various social medias, and she talks about a bunch of healthy stuff, and she's like, you got to put Celtic sea salt in there. No other salt will do it. It comes straight from the Celtic Sea, and it's got these minerals in it and shit like that.
Special
and apparently
salt.
with the sodium in the salt and how osmosis works with your cells and shit, it just hydrates you quicker. It's apparently the quickest way to get water into your body, into your system flowing. So if you're ripping ICs or beers, it's a good idea to put a little pinch of Celtic sea salt in your water. You might not have to drink as much water. You can focus on beer more. But yeah, and also I've been a little under the weather lately, so it seems to help me and hydrate me and get my voice back to the sultry, sweet, cut through butter kind of tones that we all enjoy.
We all enjoy. But hey, I gotta tell you, this domestic shit's pretty much water anyway. Am I right?
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Straight from the Monongahela, Icy Light is the beer of choice.
It's the beer drinker's beer.
It's crazy. You go to Ohio, they don't have Icy Light. You go to West Virginia, they don't have Icy Light. The only place to get Icy Light is Pittsburgh, baby.
Just two more reasons not to go to those, one more reason not to go to those states anyway.
I would go to West Virginia a little bit more. I mean, Ohio's just an atrocity of a piece of land. Maybe we should do some research on it, though. I was in Michigan not too long ago, and when you're in a place, you talk about the state, and I wonder what the history is, and then you look it up and shit, and then you found out it's way sweeter than you could have possibly imagined.
Yeah.
So maybe Ohio hasn't been given its day in the light, or maybe we haven't given it the benefit of the doubt. It sucks. Yeah, Ohio sucks.
Let me see. They got Peabody's in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay. Are any of the bands that we're going to talk about in that Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
Is Faith No More in there?
Probably not. I haven't been there in years, so.
Okay.
I don't know. They had a big Jim Morrison exhibit when I was there.
Who's that?
Fuck, I don't know. Yeah. Who? He was in that band Van Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love our Van brothers around here. You got the Van Horns, of course, and then you got the Van Helsings.
Uh-huh.
The Van Morrisons. The Van Helsings. What other Van brothers do we got out there?
Don't forget the Van Helsings.
The Van Helsings. It's a whole. It's kind of like when let me think of a good analogy. You just know a fellow Van brother when you walk into the room. You know what I mean? Like some people just understand. Oh, this guy's in the same club as me. He's got the same demeanors as me. He looks like me in a weird way. I can tell this guy has something to do with me, even if it's a completely random person you never met before.
Chicks love him.
Yep, you know a Van brother when you step into the room with another Van brother. Usually they're below the height of 5'6", and have
almost exclusively
pretty bad haircuts. Yeah, we've worked on that over the years, though.
Yeah. Haircuts have gotten a little better.
We
just grow it out.
We used to have really bad hair.
Mm-hmm.
The classic Beatles '60s looking, fucking bang cut, mushroom top looking spiel. At least I had it more.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I had my hair was just really poofy, and then I had that cowlick just right over the center of my head, so there was always just a divot there.
Mm-hmm.
It
wasn't one of those good looking cowlicks either, because I had a really good looking cowlick actually. Only at a certain point, it really worked for me. Like it perfect slick back on the right side, no matter what. So I'm sorry that you didn't have a good cowlick.
What are you gonna do? It's all falling out anyway.
Yep, you're fucked.
And I'm naked in front of the computer. I'm ugly in the morning. I'm the jizz-lobbing midnight cowboy, motherfucker, Van Rachnid, as he said. So, all right.
Jesse.
So yeah, as we alluded to, we're here to talk Faith No More today. This is part 2. We'll be covering the Mike Patton era, an era that's very near and dear to our hearts, as far as Faith No More is concerned, and as far as
in many people's hearts.
Definitely.
It's one of those bands that seems to just transcend time. Half the good shit that they released, I wasn't even born for yet, and I'm completely infatuated with it. So that tells you something.
We were 2 and 4 whenever the Real Thing came out.
Well, no, fuck. If Real Thing was 89, I wasn't born yet.
I'm doing reverse math. I was thinking I was 2 years away from being born, and you were 4 years away from being born. Not that we were 2 and 4, so I just said it like a moron.
That is correct if you said it the right way, yeah.
If I wasn't stupid.
Yep.
But wasn't already 12 ICs deep.
Really? That many?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I
cool.
You know me, I get nervous on the mic, so sometimes a little bit of hair of the dog can calm the nerves.
The front man of Herbivore, nervous in front of the mic.
Yes, it's something that not a lot of people know about me, and I bet Michael Patton himself was nervous in front of the mic some of the first times that he went on that big stage. But I assume he went on the stage far before it was big. I would love to see some old home videos of that guy as a kid and just see what he was doing in his room. Like, is his dad just telling him, shut the fuck up? Like mine was when I was playing shitty guitar.
Shut up, Mike.
Yeah.
Cut it out with that fucking shit. There's a video on YouTube of Mr. Bungle performing for their like high school battle of the bands.
Oh, yeah?
It's really fucking funny from what I remember.
Is it just as tight? Like, obviously, it can't be, but like, what does that even sound like at that age?
Not great yet. They were just covering like Macho Man, and Mike's just like dancing around.
That's cool. So he's always been like a flamboyant, outgoing kind of extrovert, it seems.
Yeah. Until recently, but we'll get to that.
I wonder what his voice sounded like before his balls dropped.
Well, it sounded something like this.
I wonder, like how there's like choir boys? Choir boy.
Choir boy.
I'm a fucking choir boy. Choir boys, like they actually, some of them can actually try to maintain their vocal tone that they had before puberty, because they just get fucked at puberty and their vocal cords get bigger and they start to stretch heavier and their voices get lower and they can't do the same shit anymore.
So they castrate themselves.
Or they continue to talk like this past that point and it gets stuck there. It's called mutational falsetto.
Also, if they castrate themselves, it helps keep the predator priests at bay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably more important for them to do that.
I guess they still have buttholes though, so.
Yep, choir boys have beeholes. But whatever gets them singing. Whatever gets them singing. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to keep this part brief. I usually start off because we're going to have a long episode, I think. So, I usually like to share with you guys what I've been listening to. So real quick, I got now Squirrel Hill Sports Bar a couple weeks back. Santana's band, Morning Sounds, opened up for a little band called the Friendship Commanders. And I got that.
Oh, yes, a nice snag.
Got that record right here.
Yeah, I was there for that show. I'm not a huge fan of the sports bar over in Squirrel Hill. I had a little bit of a altercation, in its mildest form, with the owner of that place. One time, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. I don't know if this is something that people do, but typically people hold their drinks while they're watching other people play pool. You know what I mean? So even though I was a foot away from this pool table holding my drink, the guy comes over and says, "Hey, man, you can't be holding your drink there." And I was like, "Dude, so I'm not setting it on the table." Yeah. And you look at the fucking table and there's a huge stain there. He's like, "Dude, if you spill it there, I'm going to have to replace the felt." I'm like, "Dude, what do you mean, right?"
It's a sports bar.
Yeah. So it was this big thing. And of course, it's not a big thing, but when people confront me about things that are that petty, I can't bite my tongue. So it turned into a bigger thing than it needed to. But ever since then, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then they get some decent shows, and they have a nice stage.
Yeah, stage is nice.
But
in the floor area,
they just don't know how to fill the place, right? So even like when Friendship Commanders came, they're awesome. Who's the other band? They had kind of a Swedish-Finnish feel to them, but they're American, which was actually kind of weird for me to hear.
Yeah, I can't remember what they were called.
I assume maybe there would be some sort of a draw there, but maybe one of 10 people there.
Yeah.
Yep. But I guess, whatever. More sweet music for our ears.
That's right. And I picked up the first... different positionings messing me all up. First, Merciful Fate EP, Nuns Have No Fun, as it is also known. It's a nice sacrilege there.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting cover.
Oh, yeah.
I think I appreciate...
The legendary King Diamond.
Oh, yeah. What do I appreciate the most about that album cover? Well, there's a couple pentagrams.
Yep. There's upside down crosses.
And there's also a chest.
Yep, there's some jugs on there.
Some cans.
Nice big knockers. Nice big witch knockers.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, going along with today's topic, I haven't opened it yet. I haven't listened to it. But I picked up Dead Cross 2. And, of course, Mike Patton on vocals. And apparently we have Papa Emeritus on the front for some reason. But got it at IDES.
Yeah,
I always like to plug IDES when I can.
The back cover, what the hell is that insect called?
Centipede?
Well, it's like a specialized centipede. That thing looks like it's huge.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, the first Dead Cross is awesome, but yeah, haven't gotten around to the second one yet. So I'll let you guys know.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Dead Cross, in the August of 2017, my brother was living in LA at the time. Flew out to visit him, and Dead Cross was playing a show. They were supported by Secret Chiefs 3, which is Trey Spruant's former Mr. Bungle. It's his band, and they fucking kicked ass. So that was at the El Rey Theater. So Secret Chiefs plays. They leave the stage. Moments pass. Moments continue to pass. An hour passes.
Anticipation's building.
Yep.
And building.
It's like, wow, Mike really knows how to build anticipation in the
And
crowd.
At what point did you start feeling like something's wrong here?
Probably about after an hour.
So not even like the 20-minute turnover mark or like 30 minutes maybe. An hour, you're like, okay. Even at like 50 minutes, you're like, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so then, yeah. By about 45 minutes an hour, it's like, okay, there's something going on here. What's up? Dave Lombardo, he comes out looking solemn. And it's like, all right, here we go. What's up? And he's like, yeah, sorry, guys. We have to cancel the show because Mike was in an accident on his way here. So, yeah, like, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to play tonight.
No, did the entire crowd gasp?
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Could you hear the gasp of your boiling rage?
No, it's all I could hear. I was hearing red. So this was extra shitty because I was flying back the next morning, so that was it. That was going to be my only chance to see. It would have been my first time seeing Mike Patton because we saw them in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was going to be my first time seeing Mike perform live. Super stoked for it. Dead Cross again. It was awesome. I was excited to see Dave Lombardo. I'd never seen him perform. And so it's like, fuck. Like, shit. So we're checking... I'm checking the internet, waiting for articles, waiting for tweets or something on the way home. And this article pops up that Mike was on his skateboard on the way to the venue.
Yeah.
And he...
Fucking Bart Simpson.
and he got into an accident. He, like, fucking hurt himself. But then, thankfully, it wasn't that bad. He just, like, cut his head open a little bit.
I wonder how far of a trek that was for Patton to make it to that venue.
Right, yeah, I don't know.
Come on, if he was going to ride a skateboard, it couldn't have been more than a few blocks.
Yeah, you wouldn't think.
So what the fuck happened within a few blocks?
I don't
know.
know.
Anything can happen on those skateboards. That's why I don't do it, these crazy kids.
His damn wheelie boards.
Uh-huh. Scuffing up our sidewalks.
So they say that they're going to reschedule the show for the following night. Tickets will be honored. So it's like, well, that's great, but again, I'm flying home. I can't. Well, in a little bit of serendipity, I totally fucked up and missed my flight and had to get my flight rescheduled for the following day. So then I was able to Uber back to my brother's. I was able to see the show. So, of course, the whole time, we're saying, like, what the fuck's a 50-year-old man doing riding a skateboard around? And then lo and behold, he comes out on stage, and that's the first thing he says.
He should have just entered on the skateboard.
Yeah, that would have been cooler. Did like a little kickflip, fell again. Had to schedule the show again, but yeah, he just
compound fractures his wrist.
Yeah, he just had like a little stitch, like a little piece of tape on his forehead, so it didn't even look like it was that bad. I don't know why he had to cancel the show over it. Just thought it was funny. Anyway, got to see the show. It was great, and everyone had a great time. So I almost missed it, but I didn't. Yeah.
Great.
But yeah, it was just funny. Like I said, the first thing he says, like, "Oh, so what happens when a 50-year-old man rides a skateboard?" It's like, that's what I was saying.
And everyone's like, ha, 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 ha. We love you, Mike.
We fucking love you, Mike. Anyway, very happy to report to y'alls. I finally saw The Damned. Yay! I got this shirt there. Years in the making. Brendan and I from episode 1. We were supposed to go. We were going to go to Manchester. We were going to go on a nice little Europe trip. I've never been overseas.
You're really looking forward to that.
Really looking forward to that. It would have been my
I can
first
see it in
time
your eyes.
in Yoyup. And then COVID happened, so then that all got fucked. And then they finally like rescheduled the show, well, like 2 years later or something. And then we were gonna try to go again, but then like there's 8 layovers between here and Manchester, so all the interstitial flights were getting canceled just because of more COVID shit. And it was just like, fuck it, just got the plane tickets refunded, ate the cost of the damn tickets, and so I finally got to see them. I went down to Silver Spring, Maryland. My mommy went with me. So that was nice. It was very fun. It was nice going to a concert with her. I drove down. Then I got to have some brews, a couple whiskeys at the venue, and then she drove home. So that's fantastic. Worked out.
Nice. DD for the damned.
Oh, yeah. So they were awesome. They played almost all of Darkadelic that I reviewed a couple episodes back. Check that out if you haven't seen it. And then he's like, okay, thanks for indulging us. We'll play the old stuff now, and everyone's like, yeah. So that was great.
We, in fact, covered a damn song for a little cruddy basement house show a couple years back.
Oh, yeah.
A New Rose.
Got it good.
Uh-huh. It's one of the funnest covers we've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Just nonstop rock. You know what they say.
We did.
The basements are rocking.
Do come a-knockin'.
Do come knocking.
We also covered another song from our topic band, but we'll talk about that later. All right, so I saved the set list from the damn show for anyone that cares. They opened up with Street of Dreams, Phantasmagoria, awesome. And then they played Invisible Man, Wait for the Blackout, and then Bad Weather Girl, You're Gonna Realize, Western Promise, Beware the Clown, Wake the Dead. Those are all from Darkadelic, those last few. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Celebrity one. I don't know. Some of these don't make any sense. Leader of the Gang. What the hell is Cycle?
How'd you get the set list? Was it, did you snatch it off the stage?
Yeah, no, I was just keeping track of it as the songs were coming up.
It's dedication.
But then some of these, I don't even know what I was typing. The Sexy Lips one. And then they got into Just Can't Be Happy Today, Fan Club, and then Love Song, Second Time Around, Edge of Tomorrow, Neat, and then they did a little bit of like The Doors' L.A. Woman, and that was cool. And then they encored with Eloise and ended with New Rose.
Damn, they did squeeze New Rose in there.
They got it in.
Yeah, it's like they just, if all the songs for us to play, of course we picked that one. Like they even acknowledge just how popular it is. They'll just do it as their encore song.
Yep. Ski. And lastly, band from New York called Baby Shakes opened up for them. Girl band, for the most part. Guy drummer, but they were fucking awesome. I picked up their latest album, Cause a Scene. Very, very good. They're like kind of like old school girly, like pop punk kind of stuff. Kind of just like old school girl punk. Really good.
Nice. Baby Shakes.
Baby Shakes. Okay, so without further ado,
Let's jump in.
tell me about why Faith No More is significant to you, and like what the band means to you. Any memories you have? Maybe driving to school.
Well, all right. So Faith No More is one of those bands. Again, I've been listening to pretty much my entire life, even when I didn't know it. I suppose it's one of those bands that would just be on the radio in Dad's garage. No idea. Epic or some shit would be playing.
Yep.
Or what's another classic? The Real Thing would be playing.
I know the feeling.
And at the time, I never really thought much of it. It was one of those things I was just like singing, and I didn't even know who it was. Obviously, got older and got pretty into the band. Faith No More is just one of those bands that pretty much just maintains that groove and that heaviness throughout every genre that they tackle, and they tackle a shit ton of genres. They choose to go outside of their lane while also staying in their lane. You know what I mean? Like it's Faith No More, but it's pretty obvious that they're experimental with the sounds that they bring as well. I don't know if Patton helps just tie that all together. But even I didn't listen to much Faith No More before Patton, but what I've been listening to lately, I'm like, well, okay, this sounds really Faith No More even without Michael Patton.
Yeah.
So maybe Michael Patton helped to bring a really good spice into it while also staying within that lane of what Faith No More was. There's only a few other bands that I think can really do that. I don't know, like Ween, maybe. Weenish.
Ween.
Maybe like Portugal the Man. There's bands that it's them, but every album's got its own pizzazz and jazz, and there's a little something different for everybody on there. So, also, it's also one of those bands you can just put on a playlist at a party, and some like dillweed won't tell you to like change the song because it's a little heavy and has guitar in it. Actually, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you even see people who don't necessarily like heavy music or any kind of music with real instruments still grooving their head to it. So yeah,
Cuckoo for Kaka might piss someone off though. But
I don't even know if that one could, man. Like the groove, like the drums and the toms ripping in that song are so good.
True that.
It's enough to get any bone shaken, especially the one down below.
The main one.
Yep.
The main bone.
So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those bands that I'm conservative with what I listen to anymore. I hardly experiment with, at least far from where my roots are. I hardly experiment with new music, but they're one of those bands I just continuously listen to, no matter what. Obviously, Patton has a lot to do with that. Being that he's just a vocal extraordinaire, which we will get into a little bit.
Yep.
And he makes me jelly with what he can do with his voice. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you there, Jesse? Or what do they mean to you?
Well,
since it's all just about Patton.
Yeah. And it is a lot about Patton. Of course, Billy Gold's fucking ripping bass. He's so fucking good. Mike Borden's.
It's got that punchy kind of bass tone to it.
Oh yeah.
And when we went and saw them playing, I guess I was so stoked on just everything that I wasn't necessarily paying attention to how they played it. But I wasn't sure if he was like using any thumb technique, slapping. But it sounds like he has to.
Yeah, I think
or he's just
does do that a lot.
Plucking the strings just so far from the action of the board, like just slapping back. I don't know how he does it, but very distinct bass tone.
Definitely, they have that funk influence there. But
funker.
But yeah, I said on last week's episode, kind of like, what it means to me, but I can reiterate a little bit for you because you're here.
Great.
But yeah, like I started listening to them maybe late high school. Josh, my brother, had all the CDs. Well, The Real Thing, Thru, Album of the Year, and cousin Seth, he would always wear his The Real Thing T-shirt. So it's like, you know what? It's about time I start listening to this. And by the time you get to track 4 and The Real Thing, Surprise You're Dead, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm in. This is amazing. I didn't realize it was this great. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that how much better pretty much everything besides Epic is. Not that Epic is bad.
Yeah. It's like, you know how we are with music. It's like, if everyone starts listening to it, you hardly want to listen to it anymore. Yeah. Epic is one of those songs, though. It's just like, if it wasn't so popular, they actually consider that a one-hit wonder in the 80s and 90s, which is crazy. Because, like, did they just listen to the rest of the fucking album?
Yeah, right.
Like, why did that song stick so much? But again, if it wasn't a super popular song, like it was, you go back and listen to it, and it's like, it's still just so Faith No More. It's so Patton. Yeah. It's just like, so it's kind of stinks that everyone, knows about that song, because it kind of taints it a little bit. Yeah. And that's just it too. I think that's how it is. And they might not even like it. A lot of people I know that listen to No Faith No More from that song, they're like, I don't really like that song, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, dude, like you can't just rely on that.
So that it really began to shape my tastes moving forward. I really began like opening up musically around that time of my life too, and that certainly helped spur that.
Opened up in a lot of other ways too.
Oh yeah.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
But, stop recording. Mm-hmm. And of course, I was always into singing and stuff like that. So obviously, like you said, Patton's just, he's a major vocal influence on everybody. Most people will tell you that, but he always was on me too. And just like driving around by myself, just trying to sing along and imitate the noises and try to hit the same notes, hit the highs, hit the lows, and there's incredibly important band to me. So.
It's real nice.
Yeah. That's nice. Oh yeah, I also think too of like driving to school, like senior year of high school, like picking you up, and we'd always jam that. I know you got like this and Angel Dust. I know you got your buddy Mike into it.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to say. It's one of the only bands that I've introduced to my friends who aren't into like heavier music a lot that they still listen to this day.
Yeah.
Mike mentions Faith No More every time he sees me. Hey, Mike.
Shout out, Mikey. He was listening to the last episode, so
oh yeah,
he'll probably check this one out. Yeah,
all right.
He sent me a Snapchat of it up on the screen in his truck.
Yeah, hey Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Hope you and the fam are doing good up there in New York.
Yeah, the baby, the dogs.
Baby and the dogs,
The
man.
old
Isn't that the dream? You know, if we weren't too busy trying to chase
and the farm animals,
all these other unrealistic dreams, maybe just maybe, we would have our own baby and dog
maybe we could
together.
Plus, we could maybe get paid to stick our fingers up each other's asses
That's what Mikey does. Yeah.
instead of not getting paid to stick fingers up asses.
Yeah. If I was to choose whether to get paid or not get paid, probably get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, fingers are going in butts anyway. Might as well give me some money for it.
I'm one of those free handout kind of guys, though. I mean, like it really just takes asking me. So.
Yeah, you're all about consent.
Yes. Well, yeah, I need to consent first and foremost here. If I'm sticking any fingy in any beehee,
It's mostly my consent. The other person's consent doesn't matter so much. Rape jokes.
just don't joke about rape. Seriously, don't do that.
Leave that to us.
Yeah, well,
It's our niche.
we'll take the flack here.
So
Well, again, that used to be a term, though. I don't know, it's a little tangent. It used to be a term the kids would just toss out. Well, you're playing Call of Duty. Man, I just got raped. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
so we've just been desensitized to that kind of nomenclature within the game realm for most of our lives.
Yeah, definitely.
So when we say things and we don't think it's a big deal, it's still a huge deal to other people. So we apologize.
Yeah. I guess we'll try to keep the rape jokes to a minimum.
Yeah, and I apologize for all the things I might have said to you when I was 15 on Xbox Live.
Oh God, yeah.
I've since grown. I've definitely grown, and I regret a lot of those things. Right? It's like Steve Buscemi or Adam Sandler calling Steve Buscemi and saying I was an asshole, and it paid off for him in the end. So.
Oh, it's cool, man. No big deal.
Yeah. I'm glad I called that guy.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wish like some of those were like voice chats from back in the day were saved because I can't imagine. I mean, I wasn't even saying some of the worst shit. Even
Oh yeah.
It's like clearly like 9-year-old kids dropping like hard N words.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like I wouldn't call anyone an N word, but
No, that shit's all fucked. And can't we just get on and play a game and shake hands at the end and put our heads down if we lose, put our heads up if we win, and if you lose, try to that's your fire, that's your motivator to get better.
Yeah. Now I just quick chat things like Cosby for president or
Quick Chat Champion, actually.
Quick Chat Champion. That's me.
Yeah, he has the
Rocket
title.
League.
Yeah, we play a lot of Rocket League. We don't seem to get any better at it.
No.
Been playing for years and still just get beat in really like easy ranks. Doesn't make any sense. Actually, we might be able to catch the 10 o'clock tournament in 2 hours if we
should.
If we can wrap this up by then. So
Let's wrap it up now. Episode's done, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, we just missed the threes tournament. So.
Jared Fogle was framed. That's one I'll drop. But it's all in good fun. I'm not insulting anybody. I just think it's hilarious.
What is it?
Don't touch kids.
Yeah. What's my quick chat usually come out? The preacher
Demon dog.
Demon dog or don't worry. The preacher the preacher forgets once the sun rises or something like that. All right.
Okay. I feel like I should explain this real quick and then we'll move on. But so like on the PlayStation like keyboard, whenever you bring up to like send text chats, it has like suggested words or like things that you type or send a lot, or they'll be like suggested. So it's really fun to just like hit R1, let the cursor jump up and just type out something really quick and just like let the PlayStation kind of pick something for you. And that's kind of where a lot of this stuff came from.
Yeah, there's a lot of wacky comments. And sometimes people respond.
Sometimes they do.
And it's usually a really good time.
sometimes like it clearly like distracts people, and then like the ball will drop, like the next play starts, and then the other team's not moving because they're responding to like whatever nonsense gibberish they just read.
Shit, maybe we should do an episode on the heavy songs of the Rocket League music list, playlist, music list.
Yeah, I did some heavier ones recently, yeah, but I don't know. I'm partial to Playing with the Boys, Kenny Loggins cover or whatever that's on there.
Yeah.
They used to have the original one on there too, but I guess that license expired.
I actually thought about that song the other day. At work, they're having this big Christmas party. I'm like, well, think of something you like about winter and put it on your name tag. It can only be like a few words. So I just typed "sledding with the boys." so that'll be under my name there at the work the work get together. But anyway, yes, Faith No More. Faith No More.
So, okay. So we ended part 1 of this 2-part Faith No More series with the departure of vocalist Chuck Mosley, who would eventually pass away in 2017 at the age of 57, following a pair of reunion shows with the rest of the band to promote the re-release of 1987's Introduce Yourself. Following a rash of erratic behavior on Mosley's part during a tour promoting Introduce Yourself, he was let go from the band. Faith No More would continue writing music, however, until they found their next singer in 1988.
Did you ever dive in what erratic behavior he was demonstrating?
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about this, or I talked about this, I guess, a little bit in the last episode, but he was like, he would eventually die of a heroin overdose, so it sounded like some drug use had a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm. There was like a release show for Introduce Yourself. He fell asleep on stage. So he must have been, doped out, because how else do you fall asleep on stage? But then other than that, just like getting in confrontations and fights with bandmates.
Mm-hmm. Fuck. I can't remember things on the spot like this.
I know.
One band I saw Mr. Smalls last week. The dude stops the entire set because the drummer was slightly like slowing the song down. He's like,
dickhead.
No, actually, he was playing it slightly too fast, rather.
Which is good.
Exactly. That's what you go to see live shows for, is a little bit of a something different, right?
Right.
And he's just like, slow it down, dude. Slow it down, dude. And he walks over to the drum set and just like slaps the cymbal and then like just says, cut the fucking song. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, there was one instance where one of Mosley's roadies got in a fight with Jim Martin, the guitar player, and he like broke his hand. And so like just between all that
sacred
shit,
merchandise as a musician, you can't fuck with your hands.
Right. So yeah, after all that shit, they're kind of just like, all right, this isn't working anymore. I think it was Billy Gold had said something in an interview about how Mosley wanted to do like a bunch of like acoustic songs, and they were just like, that's not us, and nobody else wants to do that. It doesn't make sense. And so all things, kind of piled up, and considering all that, they decided the guy had to go. But I don't know, he was still awesome, and those first 2 records are great, especially Introduce Yourself.
I wonder if he did anything out really after that with musically.
He was in Bad Brains for a while, and then I think besides that, he kind of just did solo stuff.
Mm-hmm. Acoustic.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well,
he did what he wanted.
Yep.
At least sometimes. Yeah. So much of what will become their next album, The Real Thing, was already written. Songs like The Morning After, at the time, was dubbed New Improved Song. Those were recorded on a demo prior to Mosley's departure. New Improved song featured Mosley singing alternate lyrics that he had written. This version would be released on Sounds Magazine's Sounds Waves 2 that year. Sounds Waves 2 EP that year in 1988.
That's a mouthful. Sounds Magazine, Sound Waves 2. Sounds Magazines.
Yeah.
Sounds Waves 2. Every fucking word has an S at the end there.
I know.
And half of them have an S at the beginning.
That's why I fucked it up. So yeah, at the time, Faith No More had been auditioning over 15 vocalists, including Soundgarden's Chris Cornell, which I never knew. That could have been interesting. Maybe not nearly as like eclectic and dynamic, as Mike, but that could have been cool.
How would that have sounded? What song would off The Real Thing do you think he would have just aced?
Shit, I don't know, because Mike wrote all the vocal melodies, but considering the same melodies, I mean, he could have ripped. I think he would have been good on Surprise You're Dead. I think he would have ripped The Real Thing pretty good. It's hard to picture him on the poppier ones though, like Epic and the other one.
How would that sound on Epic? Chris Cornell on Epic on the chorus.
Oh, dude. You want it all. You can't have it.
Yeah.
Oh! Something like that.
Might not have been a one-hit wonder then.
maybe not. So yeah, but only one vocalist will win out in the end. And that finally brings us to the man, the wordsmith, the legend, Mr. Michael Patton. So it was guitarist Jim Martin who suggested they reach out to Mr. Bungle's Mike Patton, whose second demo he had heard. And according to Patton, he first met the band during a 1986 gig at a pizza parlor. And that was in quotes for some reason. I don't know if it wasn't.
Pizzagate, that's why.
Pizzagate. In his hometown of Eureka, California. 2 weeks after joining Faith No More, he had already written the lyrics to the songs that made up the Grammy Award-nominated The Real Thing, which was released in June 1989.
Damn, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I know. He's freaking like...
He probably doesn't...
He's like an auteur.
Yeah. I don't know. But is that what he was doing full-time anyway? Time? Or was he just working at the pizza parlor, too?
He probably had a job. I didn't read anything about that, but I'm not sure how much of Mr. Bungle... How much of his time that was taking up, because Mr. Bungle wouldn't record a proper album until right after The Real Thing came out, when he finally like earned enough clout with the Warner Brothers label to kind of like bring up his OG high school band.
That's really cool of him.
Yeah.
Bringing it back to his boys.
Yeah. So after the members of Faith No More heard Mr. Bungle's second demo tape in 1987, they approached Patton to audition as their lead singer in 88. The band tried out more than 15 singers, including Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, as I said. But they settled on Patton for his versatility. And in the next months, they performed a few live shows together, and Patton would be officially announced as their new singer in January of 1989, replacing Chuck Mosley, which forced Patton to quit his studies at Humboldt State University. Now, so I guess he was a student, I guess.
I wonder why, for the versatility... If that was something they were looking for, or they just knew Patton had it, and they're like, well, no one else is going to be able to do it like this guy. Because, again, I didn't listen to much of the Mosley era, but are his vocals very versatile?
No, I wouldn't say versatile at all.
I wonder if they're just missing that element. They almost knew that they needed something a little eccentric, a little different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mosley's a little flat, kind of monotone a lot, but I find it charming. I think it works for what they were doing. Like, it's cool, it's different, but... Yeah, maybe maybe the band just wanted to take it in a more versatile direction, I guess. So, all right. We'll talk about Mike Patton a little bit before we get into the albums. I see you have some notes. You want to start us off there?
I did my research. Somewhat. It's not like I'm in grad school on this shit or anything, but yeah, so Mike Patton, comes as no surprise that to anyone that enjoys music, specifically metal music, and anyone who loves just vocal prowess, that Mike Patton's one of the best vocalists of all time. It's actually quite known he is. And he didn't acquire that accolade simply from singing in heavy bands either. Mike Patton is an operatic singer. There's some good clips of him singing some opera shit, which is great. He's got that wide open mouth and that like theatrical, super opera-esque singing style. He's done avant-garde, alternative metal, experimental rock, pop, funk, thrash metal, tons of different vocal styles, including crooning.
The star is out.
Yeah. When I first saw the word crooning, I'm like, I don't know why crooning to me sounds just like edging in porn or something. like crooning. Oh yeah, I like crooning. But yeah, crooning. I was trying to think of some examples of crooning that Michael Patton does. But apparently, crooning is basically just like very gentle, low singing. Got a taste of well, I wrote Evidence, California, from Mr. Off the California album Mr. Bungle, Pink Cigarette.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pink cigarette. Oh, wow.
Dude, that song's so good.
I know.
And Just a Man,
Mm-hmm.
What was that? I will not touch you, I am just a man. You can barely hear him over the music track in that song too, so you know he's just like down there. And King for a Day, at the very end of it, this is the best party I've been to.
Yeah.
Where he kind of just goes into that crooning style.
Yeah, I never used to understand what crooning meant either. I always thought it was just like Sinatra kind of stuff, like, "Hey, babe, get me my whiskey before I pop you in the mouth."
I guess if you did that kind of like just with lower vocal amplitude, it would probably be crooning still. He does falsettos, he screams like a motherfucker. Obviously does opera, death growls, rapping, beatboxing, scatting. He fucking does that too, dude. What do they call those? Lip trills? Raspberries? No, maybe a raspberry. That's a raspberry, right? Man, I'd love for Michael Patton to do that on my belly. Mike. So while already a proficient singer, Patton is fond of manipulating his voice also with effect pedals and diverse tools. So he takes it to the next level in that regard too.
Thanks to bring that megaphone out.
Yeah, that's sweet. And the kind of that walkie-talkie kind of sound, you know.
Yeah.
So he's just constantly fucking innovative in the realm of vocals. And critic Greg Prato writes, Patton could very well be one of the most versatile and talented singers in rock music. And Blake Butler called Patton a complete and utter musical visionary and a mind-blowing and standard-warping genius. And they note that he also has knowledge of multiple instruments as well. It's not just his voice, which we talk about that sometimes, right? Like, oh, fuck. Like, how much did Michael Patton bring to this song that the band didn't have? Like, to think of such good melodies, did he have anything to do with the actual songwriting process, too? Like, just from a singer-songwriter perspective of mine, it's like, it's hard to imagine not writing the music in just the vocals. It doesn't to me. It doesn't. The vocals come from the music often in my songwriting. So I wonder how much of a part he has in actually the instrumentation as well.
Yeah, I feel like he probably did the most with Angel Dust, and then probably Sol Invictus as well. Because like I said, Real Thing was largely written before he joined. And of course, King for a Day and Album of the Year are much more like guitar oriented, maybe more than like the other stuff. So I don't know how much he wrote for that. But
Sol Invictus, such a good comeback album. That was so cool hearing that album after all those years of them not being together, and you're just wondering like, is this gonna suck? Is it gonna be Faith No More? And I'm sure we'll get to that later. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
No, so we'll save it for then. But on the topic of Michael Patton's vocals, still, you'll find about his vocals that's the most striking is just his range. He's actually got one of the largest vocal ranges by octave of any singer in the world, which is fucking nuts. And I love how he's not like
6 octaves.
He's not on like the fucking Voice as a judge or something. You know what I mean? You know, like
he would never.
He can be that good and still just be that true to all the homies, you know, without selling out. That's really cool. He can hit 6 different octave ranges. On the low end of his vocal range, you'll hear him using a deep, resonant, buttery vocal tone in songs like we said, Just a Man. You'll hear screeches and screams only matched by a possessed demon in songs like Smaller and Smaller or Cuckoo for Caca. That fucking note he hits in Smaller and Smaller. Smaller and Smaller and Smaller. And he just like goes into this just banshee scream.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can emulate that for us.
Shit, I don't know.
Yeah, but do you think he's like when you do that? Are you inhaling to make that sound?
Yeah,
I don't know if he's doing that.
Yeah,
I think it's like all outward, man, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So while his vocal range is a defining feature of his singing ability, Patton himself doesn't really seem to give a shit about it. When asked about his range in a 2019 interview, he said, of past articles written about his vocal range, he said, quote, I think that range thing is all bullshit. I don't think that I have the biggest range or the biggest cock. And even if I do, who cares? This is not like the Olympics of vocals. Ha 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 ha. There's laughs in there. I could make a record without singing a note, and I'd be happy with it. So even though Patton doesn't seem to give a shit about how large one's vocal range or cock is, he does have some very opinionated takes on what it means to be a great vocalist.
Ooh,
So here's a quote from an interview he did with Bandcamp. He says, I still see it as, I'm here to help, and I'm a component. I think that's important, but let's be honest. Singers are fucking idiots. They think they own the fucking show, but they don't, okay? That's one thing I've learned over the years. All you gotta do is sit back and be part of the fucking band, and that's what I've tried to do with these guys. Right? I'm not pushing ideas on them, because guess what? They've got great ideas, and I don't want to fuck with it. So maybe that comes back to, maybe he doesn't so much fuck with the musical structure of the song, right? Because he trusts the dudes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says, I'm involved in another project now where it's kind of the same thing. It's like, you don't need me, you need my voice. That's it, right? So Patton clearly does what he thinks. He clearly does what he thinks the song needs, and doesn't try to come in and change things around, much like a local musician might. That you bring into your band to try things out. They try to make it their own thing in a weird way, and it kind of gets awkward. Patton doesn't even let it get to that point. You know, it's so he seems just like a really good guy to actually work with from a productive standpoint.
Yeah.
But again, his vocal abilities just do all the talking for him without needing to try to steal the show. You know what I mean? He doesn't try to steal the show. He just does.
Yeah.
He just do. You know.
Uh-huh.
Patton said that he loves collaborating with other musicians, and this quote makes it apparent that it's a collaboration even in his long-reigning musical projects like Faith No More. It relies on the whole conglomerate and not any one person. So, people butt heads in bands, man. People get pissed at each other in bands.
Yeah.
And obviously they had to have had their tiffs, but
yeah, surely.
But music guys do their thing. Patton does his thing, and look what you get. You get a fucking just generational band.
Yeah. That's
just touching millions of people every day while I touch myself.
You get amazingly unique and something you can't copy in like an album like Angel Dust. Yeah, can't be replicated.
That's the one thing. Even as a guitarist myself, I'm like, I want to write something that I don't think anybody else could like reproduce. Right? It's just like Patton doesn't have to worry about that. I've never heard anyone really be able to sing like Patton.
No, I know. I think it's was it Trivium? It's either Trivium or like Avenged Sevenfold covered something from California. Some Mr. Bungle song. It's just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
They don't even do it.
I remember you showed me that. It's like, God, come on. There's things you can realistically cover. Like us doing New Rose. Like, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't bad. I thought we paid it respect.
Yeah. Respect.
But it's also because it's within our range, too. It wasn't fucking Michael Patton. Though, you did Surprise You're Dead. Some justice. Maybe we'll get to that later, too. Yes, we also covered Surprise You're Dead. Surprise You're Fed.
Supplies You're Fed.
Yeah, Supplies You're Fed. But yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what I kind of wrote down on Patton. I mean, I'd be happy to delve into anything specific as well.
Yeah. You did a really good job there. You pretty much nailed it. I would just note a couple other things. Let's see. His vocal range that you had mentioned was acknowledged in this Consequence of Sound article from 2014, in which they ranked best singers by range, and he beat out Axl Rose in second place.
See, that's why they want to get Axl
for the top spot.
Oh no, fuck, I didn't think of that. Yeah, what for coming back to the Axl Rose thing and the type of negative now. Why? It's not like Peter had the best range. Why do they want to get someone like that has huge range for typo negative? Anyway,
who knows?
Fuck Axl Rose. Anyway, I'm glad that Mike Patton beat him out. Nothing against all you guys who love Axl Rose.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah, he does all right. I guess just comparatively to Michael Patton, I get kind of heated.
Mike Patton co-founded Ipecac Recordings.
Ipecac.
Very appropriate name for him too.
Yeah.
With Greg Workman in 1999, and he has run the label since. And you've been watching the episodes up to this point. You've heard me, talk about video games and how much I love those as well. And if there's one thing I love, it's whenever my two favorite things crossover, heavy metal and video games. So I got to acknowledge Mike Patton's contributions to video games, which includes 2009's remake of Bionic Commando. I think that was on the 360, where he actually just voices. He's not doing anything crazy. He just voices the main character. He was the miasmic monsters in the Darkness game. Do you remember that? Remember that?
The Darkness. Was that with the snake?
Yeah,
And tendrils from the arms.
Yeah, it was like these two heads that will come out.
I remember your brother was playing that way back in the day on the projector in his room.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so he voices those. There's a really awesome video of him doing that. You can find on YouTube, just like a short 30-second video of him in the booth recording some lines for that game. Left 4 Dead, he does most of the monsters. He does the common zombies.
Yeah, one of my favorite games of all time, honestly, to play with friends.
Oh god,
was Left 4 Dead. Knowing Michael Patton was right there with us also made it very, very pleasurable and enjoyable.
Extra special, yeah.
You guys got to check it out. The voice acting is so good. It's hard to get somebody better to do a zombie.
Yeah, you can tell they're them too, especially the hunter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's just doing that shit. Even just the regular zombies. Again, there's a video on YouTube of him recording in the booth, recording some of the effects for that game. But yeah, the smoker, and then pretty sure he does the boomer as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love when that your two favorite things combine. It's kind of like, whipped cream on titties or something,
It's exactly like that. It's like the sum is greater than the parts, just because of the combination of the titties.
Some of my two favorite things.
Whipped cream by itself, whatever, but you throw a pair of jugs in there.
Hey,
whipped cream gets a lot.
Then
better.
You got Not Another Teen Movie.
Yeah,
but that was on the football player, the quarterback, and not titties. So it was on cock.
Oh, because I think that was making fun of American Pie, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I don't remember American Pie.
Yeah, I didn't care about those so much either.
Mm-hmm.
Stifler, though. Remember Stifler? Remember Stifler? And lastly...
Whatever happened to Stifler?
Most recently, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. He composed the opening theme song, which is a semi-original take on the classic cartoon theme. And again, you can just totally tell it's him. It's awesome.
Yeah, you can totally tell it's Patton.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
They're the world's most fearsome fighting team. So yeah, I don't know. Might as well start talking about not just the way he sings, but the content in which he sings, his lyrics.
Yeah. So concerning his approach to lyric writing, Patton creates lyrics after hearing the instrumentals, and sometimes at least. And in the same way as the vocals, he approaches the lyrics depending on what the music needs. His songwriting takes a phonetic perspective instead of a literal one, making sounds paramount. The music tells the story, he says. As soon as he creates the melodies, he generally seeks words that sound the most similar to what he heard in his head. On the other hand, when working thematically, Patton says that each song is usually a character sketch acted out by him.
Sorry to interrupt real quick, but that reminds me of, not to come back to my own experiences writing lyrics and shit, but before I even knew Patton did this, I kind of had that same philosophy. And if I writing a song, you just sing, a melody will pop in your head, and a word just seems to pop in there with it.
Mm.
And then I'm like, fuck, this word sounds so good in here that I couldn't possibly take it out. And I'm so attached to it that I want to, you end up building an entire song around that one word that phrases in there so perfectly. So I'm glad it doesn't really have to make sense. And he's all about the auditory experience, right? How that sounds. So that's fucking sweet.
Yeah, it's genius level shit. So yeah, he tries to appropriate their respective psychologies. That is this kind of character sketch in his head. He finds whatever the character he thinks suits the song, appropriates their respective psychologies, and he doesn't make it autobiographical. So he's really not ever writing about himself,
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah. It might, of course, some life stuff might influence some things, but he's never going out of his way to do that. And so before writing, Patton tends to read books about the specific topic he wants to address, and then fits it into, quote, stolen ideas from other musicians. Journalists highlight the marked de-romanticization by Patton on his own songwriting. He once compared it to brushing his teeth. Yet in the 1990s, he either said or hinted that at least a few songs came from his personal experiences. So regardless of the extent to which Patton's statements on his lyrics are accurate, to Camilla Albertson of AllMusic, his self-deprecating attitude is self-aware and at least partly a reaction to the self-importance of people in the music industry, manifested more clearly in his parody of rock and rap cliches in the lyrics of Mojo by Peeping Tom.
That's really cool too. It's like people who care too much, you can almost they just drip insincerity almost in some ways. Like you can try to be so profound or just try to just push your talents on other people in a way that comes off as disingenuous. So I kind of like that. Again, him come back to him not selling out at all to what he believes it should be, and also poking fun at the people that do, and just being better at it. He can do that because he can be better at it. And he knows it. There's no fucking way he doesn't know it.
Oh yeah.
But that gives him all the the ability to do that as well. So yeah, he's cool.
He's pretty cool. And so Patton elaborated, "I want to be myself, not say what I am. I guess the idea is that as a singer, you're supposed to inherit a lot of responsibilities, but I never thought of myself as that important. None of us are that type of artist. When I see a picture of myself, I don't get a hard on."
Whoa. I wish I could say the same about Patton.
All right. Let's get into the real thing.
I know the feeling. It is the real thing. The essence of my soul.
Let's acapella every song on every album.
Fuck, my voice is so shot today. I mean, I hit that note, guys. Come on. Sorry, coming off a little bit of a bug from last week, so.
Hey, we've already been recording for an hour.
Wow,
something flying by. All right, so Faith No More's The Real Thing was released in 1989. The album reached the top 20 on the U.S. charts thanks largely to MTV's heavy rotation of the epic music video, which features Patton in a Mr. Bungle t-shirt.
Dude.
Again, like we were saying,
free advertising.
He's always supporting his original boys.
That's cool.
Always bringing them up, putting the ladder down, as it were, instead of pulling it up. So yeah, like I don't know. Again, if you've been watching, normally I like to do like lyric breakdowns and stuff, but we have a lot to get through, so I'll just do a rundown for a few songs on The Real Thing, and then I'm not really going to get into that further. Patton, as we mentioned, writes to serve the music. This approach influences his lyric writing as well, and as such, lyrics for him are less important word to word. That's not to say that he writes total nonsense, like, say, Anthony Kiedis. There are overarching... there are overarching themes and ideas each song captures incredibly effectively. That's also not to say that he won't go full Taz the Tasmanian Devil and spit gibberish sometimes. But even in such cases, it's to serve the music and the point of the song, like Cuckoo for Kaka. That's all to say that there isn't, not too much for me to say about lyrics on The Real Thing. It's also important to note that Patton's writing as the newest band member was constrained by the producer and the studio.
Boo.
Music industry, boo.
Boo.
Regarding The Real Thing, longtime Faith No More producer Matt Wallace said, "All the music was written before Mike joined the band, which had gotten rid of the original singer, Chuck Mosley, and the tracks were either in pre-production or being recorded when Mike came in. And when he'd ask if he could make a section longer or different, the band would say, 'No, this is it, so you have to do it this way.' So Mike Patton wrote every lyric and melody to that record over a 10 to 12 day period. And it's stunning because he was 19 or 20 and pulled all that out of the air and put together an incredible record. The only thing we did was spend a couple of days at this coffee shop in San Francisco because a lot of the songs were really dark and heavy lyrically, crazily so. And I would sit there and go, 'Mike, these are some great lyrics, but we need to at least use some metaphor or couch some of the concepts. But I think you've got some great ideas here.'
Or maybe just put a baby right here. Put baby in here, and maybe it'll sound better.
We need a baby girl. In the end, they really pulled some great songs together.
Yeah, producers, man.
Producers, man.
Fucking producers, man. God, I hate them.
Former bandmate William Winant, who played with Patton and Mr. Bungle and later contributed to 2010's Mondo Cane project. He singled out Patton's immediacy to concretize musical ideas he has in his head. Faith No More bassist Billy Gold observed his reaction to the backbone of the songs from The Real Thing and concluded, Patton was trying to figure us out at first, but he has this key to understanding music on a real gut level, and his ideas honestly made these songs even better.
Cool.
So let's dive into the shallow end of the tracks on this album. And again, you can jump in if you have anything to say at any time.
Yeah.
From Out of Nowhere is about loving on a chick. Not much to say there. Epic is perhaps about desire and ambition, about coveting the unobtainable, perhaps about dissatisfaction generally. It might also allude to drug use or something, like tracks on past albums that we discussed in the last episode. Overall, though, I think it's kind of just about carnal experience. Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting. You know, the senses.
Okay.
Merriam-Webster defines epic as a noun, a long narrative poem in elevated style recounting the deeds of a legendary or historical hero, a series of events or body of legend or tradition thought to form the proper subject of an epic. Those are two different definitions there. And as an adjective, of relating to or having the characteristics of an epic or extending beyond the usual or ordinary, especially in size or scope. So taking the definition of epic into account, we're all the heroes of our own epics. Our lives are one long poem of experiences and stories, of achieved goals and dashed dreams. You got any thoughts or farts?
Nah, pretty much summarizes life.
Yeah.
I guess epic is life.
Hearts and farts, they fade. So, yeah. So we kind of alluded to this earlier, but, you know, as far as, like, poppy, like, studio-ish songs go, I think, you know, Epic's still pretty good.
Are there any other poppy-ish songs that could fit into the epic category that Faith No More has done?
Midlife Crisis was a big one, but it's not, doesn't have that, like, studio-ish sound, though.
Yeah, like, what is it that makes epic just so distinct? Is it just that sound mixed with the poppiness?
I guess.
Because there's a lot. And again,
like the rapping, I guess.
Where's the line between pop and groove in Faith No More?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's a good question. From Out of Nowhere, of course, the first track was the first single, and that has a music video as well. So that's up there with it. Well, yeah.
Oh, song's so good.
So those two, I think, would be the closest in relation to, like, you know, a more studio feel, but I don't know, it still works.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's cheesy, but
again, is it only cheesy because of the notoriety, because it's a one-hit wonder, because MTV fucking played it until you didn't want to listen to it anymore, because Rock Band put it on their video game? Like, is that the reason why it's cheesy? Because it's pretty good.
It is good. But again, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, if you're going to put a song on Rock Band, I don't know. Like, why that one?
Yeah.
But
I guess because no one could. Well, Rock Band has singing attached to it, so they're definitely not going to put like smaller and smaller on there. Or something.
Yeah.
Just fail the song every time that screech comes in.
Bassist Billy Gold said it was conceived naturally as a riff in the studio between Roddy, myself, and Mike Borden during rehearsal that later got fleshed out into an entire song. He also said that after the disappointing performance of the album's first single, From Out of Nowhere, the record label had low expectations and let the band pick whatever song they wanted as the next music video, and thus the next single. So we picked Epic because it just felt the most natural at the time. We had very little expectations of it becoming a commercial hit, said Gold.
Isn't that crazy? A disappointing performance from Out of Nowhere?
Yeah.
That song is worlds better than Epic, you know?
Yeah, I think it's better too, but...
and he just goes off into such visceral, like, when you say goodbye. Like, you can hear his young 19, 20-year-old self in that throughout that whole album.
Goodbye.
Yeah, dude, fucking, it's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It makes you think about critics and music critics and stuff, and it's like, the fuck do you know, dude?
Yeah. So that quote's interesting too, because it kind of makes it seem like it wasn't like a studio pressure song, but I don't know. Oof. Cool. Anyway, next up we got Falling to Pieces. Falling to Pieces is about struggling with indecision and choice paralysis, about inaction and anxiety, and the peaks and valleys of life. Yeah,
what's the defining lyric from that song? I'm falling to pieces. Somebody put me together.
Yeah, I like the one. It's like from the bottom, it looks like a steep incline. Yeah. From the top, another downhill slope of mine.
But I know.
Like a picture beneath.
Dude, that's fucking sweet.
Yeah, that song has a music video as well. That's good. Yeah, Surprise You're Dead is about murder. And, maybe like a tormented spirit reliving the painful moment of death over and over again for eternity.
Lyrics in that song are insane. Yeah, fuck. I don't know. He says the words so fast, but I think it's just... I remember the first time I listened to that song. It was like the first time I saw my brother playing Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation. Like, I was just kind of scared. I was like, holy fuck, awesome. I can't believe a song did this to me. I was young when I heard it, I was like... He's like, guess what? It never ends. And you're like high and shit. You're like, oh fuck, it never ends. Oh shit. Oh god. Yeah. So yeah, that song's terrifying.
So the reason that track stands out on the album so much is it was composed by Jim Martin, guitar player, in the 1970s while he was guitarist for Agents of Misfortune. Agents of Misfortune also featured Cliff Burton of Metallica fame in their lineup. I believe they were like high school mates. The recording of the song took place in December of 1988 after Chuck Mosley was fired from the band and was completed prior to the hiring of Mike Patton, who then wrote all the lyrics for the songs and recorded them the following month over the music.
Dude, they just give him a song. He's like, okay, I'll get these lyrics done like by noon. So,
yeah.
I'll have it in by noon.
Yep.
Crazy.
No time for coffee. Yeah. And then, so as we hinted at earlier, Surprise You're Dead was one of our staple covers with Duberstank. Mm-hmm. And I'll splice in one of those shitty recordings from my phone here in post. Fuck it, we'll do it in post. Mm-hmm. Zombie Eaters. This
might be my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, it's one of them for me. I don't know.
That's a huge one for me and Mikey, who we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And now that he has a newly born child, I hope he really relates to this song even more.
Yeah.
This song's amazing.
It's really
from the title down to the lyrics, down to the acoustic infusion, and just that crunchy fucking pop guitar that opens up the dude, awesome. And then that groove that follows. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
We're gonna listen to this album after we're done recording this, by the way.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Zombie Eaters, despite the title, is a superbly written song about the relationship between parent and child. Which again, I don't know where Zombie Eaters comes from, but maybe not the heaviest concept for a rock album.
Do you think it's because kids just feed off parents in every way? Like, it's just such an unending need for them, just like a zombie needs brains, man. That's analogous.
Yeah, that could be.
It's just like the kids feeding from the moment, like in the womb. It's just eating off you. It's just like that's how I always like interpreted it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
because I was thinking
he's calling a child like a zombie eater. Yeah, like zombie eaters would imply that, right? But I don't know. That's what I always got from it. At least. Yeah.
But they managed to make a concept like the parent-child relationship heavy. As a child, the parent is omniscient, all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful. They're God. But as the child ages, as the lyrics state, I begin to see through your eyes. All the former mysteries are no surprise. And the flaws and earthly humanity of the parent become apparent. Wordplay, fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
The real thing is harder to define. I think to say it's about drug abuse is a little too reductive. There are lines to point to that, but I think there's kind of like double meaning. So I think it's largely about the nature of inspiration, the fulfillment you get when your inspirations help you achieve a goal, help you create something that you're proud of, which may in turn then inspire others. Some creators may use drugs as an inspiration, but it's self-destructive and often has the opposite effect of what the user thinks they're achieving. And it's like poisoning and damaging your brain to enhance a fleeting experience at the possible expense of a longer, healthier life.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 Underwater Love. Pretty self-explanatory. It's about, making fucks underwater.
Cool.
But yeah, to make it a little more interesting, you could picture like a mermaid or a siren pulling their victim into the depths for sweet, murderous copulation.
Whoa. Duperstank's 43rd album. Murderous Copulation.
Dude, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Could be Shryock as well.
Shryock could write that, yeah.
What was that Netflix thing we watched with the siren? Was that Love, Death, and Robots?
Yeah, really, really good episode. That episode's so cool.
That was awesome.
I think they depict sirens really well in that. It's like this random like lake siren, though. It's not like in the ocean or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And just that, the beauty and the tantalizing nature of the siren, and as soon as she starts to scream, it just physically pulls them towards her, and they're doing like an orchestrated dance on their way to her. Fuck, it's really good art.
Yeah, good art.
Art.
You think Mike Patton did the siren scream?
They probably just put it on. They did something with a computer for that fucking thing. They could have got Mike Patton. It probably would cost more.
Yeah, maybe. The morning after is also fairly self-explanatory. Captures the feeling of waking up after a night of debauching that culminates in a one-night stand. He or she is gone the next morning, but traces remain, especially fluids and blood.
Mm-hmm. Find a nickel.
Like Underwater Love, there are some monster metaphors with lyrics on this track suggesting a werewolf-like transformation, like the amnesia of the night before and the bloodstained tattered clothes.
Cool.
Bloodstains on my tattered clothes.
Whoa.
And finally, one of my favorites, Edge of the World, which is hilariously about a pervert courting a child, but it's like to the tune of a classy like cabaret / like jazz club tune.
So people do write about that kind of shit,
Yeah, I love that song. I think it's hilarious.
Uh-huh.
I'm also super attracted to children.
Yeah. It's the edge of the world as we know it.
Don't be touching kids out there. No diddles.
Yeah, wordplay is cool. You can diddle some words. Don't diddle kids.
Would you like some candy? An unreleased track titled Sweet Emotion was later re-recorded with different lyrics as The Perfect Crime, which was then released on the soundtrack to Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in 1991. Cool. Jim Martin also made a brief cameo in the film as Sir James Martin, as the head of the Faith No More Spiritual and Theological Center. I don't remember that part. I used to love that movie when I was a kid, though. Yeah. I got to rewatch that. I used to love that movie.
It's Faith No More Spiritual Center.
Yeah, hilarious. I just remember being terrified by, like, they're, like, going between worlds or something, and one of them, can't remember if it's Bill or Ted, but, like at one point, it's, like, in this, like, icy, like, blue tunnel, and then they're, like, in this, like, red, like, fleshy-looking tunnel, and, like, there's, like, the Easter Bunny or, like, the Energizer Bunny or something's, like, coming after them, which is really fucking weird. I just remember being, like, freaked out by that as a kid, but still oddly, like, transfixed by it.
Is Faith No More playing while that's happening?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not sure if there's anything like in the movie itself, or if it's just on the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. But The Perfect Crime sounds like it's from the Real Thing recording sessions, but according to writer Josh Katzowitz in a series of articles dubbed 365 Days of Mike Patton, Patton's singing makes it sound like an outtake from The Real Thing because he's a little nasally, but in reality, he was in the middle of making his transition to the more well-rounded singer he'd become on the Angel Dust album.
I love good transition.
Good transition. So this is fun. This finally brings us to the famous rivalry Faith No More / Mr. Bungle / Patton fans may know well. That is Mike's slightly exaggerated rivalry with fellow Californian musician Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. As I mentioned in the last episode, Faith No More had toured with the Chili Peps during their Uplift Mofo party tour, and they got along just fine. Some speculation attributes the feud to jealousy over Faith No More's meteoric rise to success with The Real Thing. But nonetheless, following the release of The Real Thing in 1989 and the video for Epic particularly, however, Kiedis got upset. Kiedis accused Mike Patton of stealing his style in the Epic music video. He told Kerrang! Magazine, "My drummer says he's going to kidnap Patton, shave his hair off, and cut off one of his feet, just so he'll be forced to find a style of his own." In a separate interview, he clarified his comment, remarking, "I love the real thing, and I liked his vocals on that record. I mean, when I heard the record, I noticed subtle similarities, but when I saw that video, it was like, wait a second here, what the fuck?" Because he just thinks he's like copying his mannerisms and stuff, which I haven't seen enough Anthony Kiedis like live performance stuff to even know how true that is.
Take it as an inspiration. The only reason he's jealous is because it was just blowing up.
Yeah.
You know, if it was a nothing, it would have been a big deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So Roddy Bottom responded by saying, "To me, our band sounds nothing like Red Hot Chili Peppers. If you're talking about long hair, rapping with his shirt off, then yeah, I can see similarities. But beyond that, I can't see any. I haven't talked to them since this whole thing started. We're really good friends with that band, and I'd like to think they're doing it, like, as a favor." Regarding the perceived conflict, Red Hot Chili Peppers bassist Flea stated in a 96 interview, quote, "There was never any fight between us. That was a bunch of bullshit created by the media. I mean, I think they're a good band. Maybe there was something said between Anthony and the singer, Patton, but it all means nothing to me. Those guys in the band are nice people, and there's no fight. Let's not fight."
Wow, Flea doesn't want to fight.
Let's not fight.
Yay, Flea.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting dispute. But honestly, if there wasn't something going on, would Faith No More have put on that famous doppelganger set where they dressed up like the Chili Peppers?
Oh, that was Mr. Bungle.
Oh.
But I'll get to that. That's coming up. So Mike Patton finally addressed the allegations from Kiedis in 1990, commenting that, quote, "It just kind of came out of the blue. It doesn't bother me a bit. I got a real big kick out of it, to tell you the truth. I mean, if he's going to talk about me in interviews, that's fine. It's free press.
Mm-hmm.
Either he's feeling inadequate or old, I don't know. But I have no reason to talk shit about him." Later in 2001, Patton also theorized that, "I think Anthony deep down feels like I'm a better dancer than he is. I think I shake my booty just a little bit fresher than he does. And if he would stop doing drugs, I think he could outdance me. Maybe one day we'll have a break-off. Just break dance."
Whoa. Like to see it. It'd be like Celebrity Deathmatch or something.
Yeah. The spat wouldn't be over yet, however. Mike Patton would reunite with Mr. Bungle in 1998, following a temporary breaking up of Faith No More. Mr. Bungle would release their third album, California, in the July of 1999.
Check it out. That's
California.
It's one of my favorite Mr. Bungle albums.
Oh, it's awesome. California, released July of 1999. But that would not happen without some conflict with fellow Warner Brothers label mates, the Chili Peppers, yet again. It's alleged that Kiedis forced the label to push back the release of California, especially due to the album title's similarity to Californication, which was released the previous month in June. So again, there's weird shit going on there. Like you almost have to wonder if Mike Patton is kind of like purposely prodding him at this
trolling
point.
a little bit. Yeah.
The conflict would spill over into touring for these albums that summer, during which Mr. Bungle's sets were being pulled. Kiedis threatened to pull the Chili Peppers off of any bill that featured Mr. Bungle, so they won out, and Baby got his way.
Ah, good, Anthony, you got your way.
Oh, baby, you got your way.
Reasonably irked, Mr. Bungle played a Halloween show, dressed as the Peppers, and opened the set by covering purposefully sloppy versions of Around the World and Give It Away, while mocking heroin injections and coke snorting, and yelling things like Anthony Kiedis is a junkie.
That's really funny.
The full set is on YouTube. Search Mr. Bungle Halloween 1999 and you'll find it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, holy shit. That's awesome.
Anthony Kiedis is a junkie.
And I don't know. I mean, just the balls to do that too. And like, I don't know.
Diva.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not playing with those guys.
Yeah, that's kind of horseshit. Like, I guess the Chili Peppers wouldn't need any other kind of band, like, and they wouldn't want another band to necessarily bring a draw for them. But you'd think it would
more talented band.
Yeah, it would just be more talent, more people, at that tour. So I don't know. They probably fucking sold out every gig anyway. So what's it matter?
Yeah, right. But just to fuck with other people's like livelihoods and money and stuff, it's just it's so low and stupid. Hey kids, it's me, Van Rachnid here. I decided I'm gonna go ahead and milk another episode out of this recording, lest ye be spoiled into thinking or into expecting, 2.5 hour long episodes. it's probably going to be a rarity. So, sorry. So we covered Through the Real Thing on this episode. In a couple weeks, we will be back to air the rest of this for you, in which we will cover Angel Dust through Sol Invictus, as well as our, Matt Van Horn and I's experiences going to see the band in the old Big Apple there in New York City. So, with that, I had spoken earlier on in the episode about a little project of ours, Duberstank, covering Surprise You're Dead from The Real Thing, as well as New Rose from The Damned. So I will go ahead and splice a shitty recording from my phone in here for you guys from a set. I feel like it was 2021, though my phone says 2022. But I feel like that can't be right. But either way, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back next time. That's it. That's all we have. Thank you for listening, and enjoy some Duberstank.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. We got 2 from here. Give me an icy light.
Thank you.
Anyone else need anything? Do you guys need a beer? I can take a sip before this next one.
I might be on Jesse.
Jesse is
No, but I'm saying not.
vocal extraordinaire. Jesse Van Horn, my cousin, my blood. Happy to have him here in Duberstank here tonight.
Mike
Alright, we got one more. You guys might know this one. It's by The Damned.
One more?
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cover song by The
Damn.
Damned. I hope everyone's having a good time. I just have one. This next one's a country song. Thanks for letting us start the party, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excited to hear everybody. Thanks to the band from New York.
Yeah, well,
appreciate
yeah,
you guys.
huh?
Welcome to
Bands here
Pittsburgh.
tonight.
If you need an icy light, let me know.
Hey T, I just have one question for you. Is she really going out with him?
Thank you. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Let's go drinking. Let's get drunk. Thank you.
We all do a thing from Stockholm, Pennsylvania.
I still think you're right for American Idol. Sorry, you guys.
Yeah, that's probably a good fit for Jesse. All right, hey, thanks.
All Abandon, a rock and metal podcast, a product of Jolly Jelly Media, is proudly recorded in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All Abandon is written, edited, and produced by Jesse Van Rachnid. The opening theme music was written by Matthew Van Horn and was recorded by Matthew Van Horn, Anthony Capozzi, and Nicholas Petruniak. You can write into the show by email at jollyjellymedia@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.